again everyone, welcome back to my channel and welcome back to another speed build video in The Sims 4. Happy Wednesday. Thank you so much for joining me here today. I hope you have had and or are having the most amazing day ever. And today we are building another family house because I promised you that I would be uploading a family house to the channel today. So let's hope this gets up before midnight because it is currently nearly 10 p.m. my time whilst I am recording this voiceover. No, I'm not where I need to be in terms of my pre-recording, but that's okay because at least I'm doing it. So here we go. We are working on a family house today, as I said, and you might notice that it's a little bit different from my usual style, and I'm really excited to show you guys the end result of this house. I think it turned out really nicely. It is a 4-bedroom, 2-bathroom family house in Willow Creek, and we are building on my favourite 30 by 20 lot. So I have very recently, I think it was 3 weeks ago now, I did build my 3-bedroom family home on this lot. I will link it down in the description below if you haven't seen that already. Please check it out after you've watched this video, of course. Don't you go anywhere just yet. But with this house, I decided to go for a very dark exterior, which is something that I don't think I've done on this channel as of yet. If I am missing one, or if I'm overthinking or overlooking maybe a build that I've done that's dark, please do let me know. But as far as I'm aware, this is very different to what I usually do, and I really like how this turned out. So you guys will have to let me know what you think. Please drop me a comment down below, and don't forget, if you haven't subscribed already, please consider doing so for more Sims 4 speed builds. But the house has already taken shape, and we are, what, 2 minutes into the video, so I think we're doing pretty well so far. Although I think I went backwards and forwards on a number of different swatches for this house, and I love the dark sort of, I think this paneling is from Cats and Dogs, if I'm not mistaken, this dark paneling. And although I love how it looks now, at this point in the build, although I was happy with the shape of the house, I wasn't necessarily sold on the colour of it. And so you might see me in a couple of minutes just messing around with some different swatches here and there, but that is just a process that I go through, and I do like to keep things like that in my speed build so that you guys can see how my mind sort of works in terms of sort of going through swatches and changing my mind. And I think sometimes people forget that when you're building a house, it is a process and it's not something that you can just do. So for example, this house is a house that I'm of course very proud of because I'm putting it out on the channel and it is available for download. But this is after I built my Japanese restaurant, which I actually built quite a while ago. That's my latest speed build on the channel, which I will also link down below if you haven't seen that one already. That's a pretty cool one to check out. But I had already built, I'd attempted to build an apartment before this and another smaller house, both of which did not turn out the way I wanted or the way I planned, and I was feeling a little bit deflated, a little bit heartbroken, and I went away, grabbed a coffee and sat back down and found this gorgeous reference image, and it wasn't on Pinterest this time. Wow, I know, right? I normally get all my reference images from Pinterest, but this time I actually found the house on just Google Images, and it had these dark brown wooden swatch tones on the exterior of the house, and I thought that's nice because that's a little bit different to what I usually do, and thus this house was born. And so I'm not gonna take credit for the shape of the house because that is pretty much identical to the reference image that I was working from. However, the pops of pink outside and the stone swatches and the overall dark swatches are nothing like the original images. And simply because sometimes I'll see an image on Pinterest or on Google Images, and if you are a builder then you might go through this process as well, and you'll be like, that's really nice, but I can't imagine that would look good in The Sims. And so that's just something that I go through, and so I kind of know at this point, because I've been building for so long, which reference images are going to look good in The Sims as well as a reference image from real life. I do hope that makes sense. But yes, I did work from a reference image from Google Images for this particular house, which is very unusual for me because I do usually use Pinterest, But lately I have been finding on Pinterest that the houses on there are starting to look a little bit samey, a little bit repetitive, and so I thought I'd mix things up. And I think with this house it's adding something a little bit different, so you'll have to let me know what you think of it down below. Please drop me a comment, as I said earlier. But yes, please let me know, and also tweet me at RachelPedd if you have downloaded this house and you've moved a household in. I would love to see your families living in this house and seeing what you've done to it, because a lot of my followers, subscribers, I know I sometimes get messages over on Tumblr, which is the platform that I initially grew from. A lot of people message me on there and say, I've downloaded your house and I've made these changes and this is the family I've moved in, and I absolutely love seeing I love seeing it. So please do feel free to either tweet me or send me a message on my Tumblr. All my socials are linked down in the description box below. But now we are working on the landscaping of the house, and if you've been around my channel for a while, you know I am a landscape queen. I absolutely love landscaping in The Sims. The more trees, the more flowers, the merrier, if you ask me. I mean, as you can see here, I just go completely nuts with the debug ones, the ones from the build and buy menu. I love landscaping in The Sims, and I have come to realize that I think exteriors of builds definitely come easier to me than interiors. And it's strange because with the interiors of my houses I never use reference images, but for the exteriors I always use reference images. Maybe that has something to do with it. Maybe it's because I am relying on my own pure imagination for the interiors, and then with the exteriors I have a little bit of help in that I use reference images. So maybe that's what it is. But you can see here, this is the back garden. It's very small, but all my back gardens are, because I'm not a landscape gardener. I think this is where my houses fall down, if you want my honest opinion. My gardens are never particularly special, nor are they particularly picturesque or photogenic. They're pretty much just basic, because I've never been good at building gardens, and it is something that I promised you I would get better at, and I'm yet to do that, so we'll see if it ever happens. We'll see. So, still working on the outside of this house. You're probably thinking, oh my gosh, this is taking such a long time. But a lot of that is down to the indecisiveness at the start with the swatches, etc. And also, you might be thinking, well, this isn't a very big house. Why is it taking you so long? Just you wait till we get to the inside, which is going to be happening in the next couple of minutes. It's actually a lot bigger than you would think. I did this house and I was like, cool, I'm going to be able to finish this in a day or two. No. It's been nearly a week. It's been nearly a week now, and I've been hopping in and out of game just as and when I've had the time in between work, etc. So you can see here, I have already done the floor plan, so you guys probably know by now that that is something that I do off camera, because I'm not particularly au fait with floor plans. My floor plans are always a bit janky. They're always a bit weird. This is absolutely no exception. I have done what I feel is right, but my floor plans could definitely use some work. So I apologize in advance for that, but at least it looks nice, right? You know, I might not be utilizing the space as best I can, but at least it looks good. So we are using the counters from the Cool Kitchen stuff pack, just because I wanted to bring in some of that these dark colors from the exterior and bring them onto the interior, which is something that I love to do with all of my builds. I like to link the exterior with the interior just a little bit, and so that's what we've done here. And I have been using these counters quite a bit recently, but they're very nice. They're very clean looking. I like the swatches, and I think they go with pretty much any build, so that's why we use these. And these bar stools, I have no idea which pack they are from, but I have used them in a recent build too, and I think they look really nice in this particular kitchen. So, and then I ended up choosing quite a few clutter items just from the build and buy menu, and I also picked up a tip and trick from my very dear friend April, aka Miss Serena, and she takes these coffee bags from the debug menu and puts them near the coffee maker, and so I did do that in this build. So I have stolen that idea from you, April. I really hope you don't mind, but I think that's such a sweet idea, and so that's what I did in this house. And I did use these tiles, and I think they look absolutely incredible. It's been a very long time since I used these tiles at all, let alone in this swatch, but seeing as we were going for a bit of more of a dark theme in this house, I thought they were kind of sort of perfect. So I do really like how this kitchen came out, and this part here in the bay window ends up being the dining area, which I think looks really nice. And we do, like I said, we do end up using a lot of dark wood tones. That does include on the floor, which is something that I don't normally do. I tend to go for either pale wood or like orange toned wood, so this is definitely new for me. So I do hope you guys like this one. I really do. And then there was this odd space here, and maybe I could have put a breakfast bar, but I figured because we had the island and the dining room table, I didn't want to put too many chairs in this room. Although this house could sleep up to, oh gosh, 2, 4, 6, 7 Sims. I tried to cater for all age groups, and I tried to cover a lot of bases because obviously you guys have very diverse families with different interests and different etc. But hopefully I ticked most of the boxes. I just sort of went with the flow with the kids' rooms upstairs, and the master bedroom is downstairs in this house. It does not have an ensuite. There's a main family bathroom upstairs, and then there's also a bathroom downstairs too, so I hope that's not too much of a problem. I have absolutely no doubt that I could have fit an ensuite into the main bedroom, but I just decided against it. So if you want to change things around a little bit and add an extra bathroom, I don't think it would take too much work. So as you can see here, I feel like I spent a lot of time deciding on various things in this build, and that's maybe why this video is slightly longer than usual. Maybe not that I'm complaining. I love to sit down and have a chat with you guys and show you guys the process of what I go through when I do a house. So I do hope this is interesting for you. I'm hoping if you've made it this far into the video, it means that you do find it interesting and you don't mind listening to me have a little ramble. I think I put a community post out a couple of days ago apologizing for my voiceover on my Japanese restaurant and bar. We're not going to go into it. It was an early one. It was an early voiceover. I was delirious. Clearly something I hadn't quite woken up, but you guys told me not to worry about it and that you liked listening to my rambly voiceovers, which I find very hard to believe, but you guys are so very sweet, so thank you very much. So still working on the kitchen here. I do feel like this is taking me a really long time, longer than usual, and this video is sped up no quicker or no slower than any of my other ones, but this is slightly on the longer side, so this is going to end up probably being nearly 30 minutes long. And I could not tell you the last time I did a video this long. It's been a while. So if I'm a bit rusty, then that's why. But I really did enjoy building this house. So I hope you guys do have a use for it. Fingers crossed you do. But I am currently working on various other builds. I'm currently working on a collaboration with someone very, very special. You know who you are. I'm not going to drop too many details because we're trying to keep it all hush-hush. But she's been very patient with me whilst I've been getting myself together and working on that. It's been a bit crazy with work, etc. But I am doing it. I'm working on it, working on some apartments, working on some other family houses, some more community lots. I have a lot of plans for the channel, so I do hope you guys are liking where everything's going, because I definitely am. So the dining space here, it's a very strange shape, but I'm trying to use the space as best I can, and I think it looks really nice. And this plant from the Journey to Batu pack, I love it. My dear friend Reese and I absolutely love this plant, and it's I don't want to say it's the only good thing to come out of the pack. We can talk in code, so we could maybe say that don't means that's exactly what I'm saying. At least something came from the pack, right? And I know we have some pretty good swatches of like floors and walls and stuff. I'm not going to go into a debate about Journey to Batu because I could be here for a long time. Anyway, now we're moving on to the living room. Not a particularly large room, but I think it works nonetheless. And again, bringing in some of these dark wood tones, and I really had to think about this while I was doing this house, because as I said before, they're not tones of wood that I would usually gravitate towards, so I had to keep in the back of my mind, okay, dark wood tones, dark wood tones, dark wood tones. So I like the shape of this room. Obviously it's just a rectangle, but the window placement and everything else just works really, really well. Then we've got an open archway into, it's not an entryway, so we've got an entryway to the house, then we've got like another entryway that leads to the stairs, the downstairs bathroom, and then obviously to the living room here too. And then to get to the master bedroom, you do have to walk through the living room. I didn't see another way around it, unfortunately. Maybe I'm wrong, maybe this doesn't work very well, but look, I did the best I could. It's my fault because when I do the exterior of the house, I don't tend to think too much about the interior, and that's completely on me. That's completely my fault, and it's definitely something that I should be doing more of, but this is exactly why my floor plans are a little bit all over the place, because I don't keep it in the back of my mind. And you might think it's a bit strange that I cover up this bay window with these shelving units from the Eco Lifestyle pack, but I mean, I went through a bit of a thought of, oh, well, why would you cover up the window? But I actually think it just looks really nice. If you don't like it there, please feel free to delete it. But I just thought it made a nice backdrop behind the sofas. Wow. Oh, I thought this voiceover was going to be better. Anyway. So I love adding clutter. I love adding items to houses. I love making houses look lived in. I don't like making them look too clean. Now, obviously, if I was doing a modern house, then I think I'd have to change up my style a little bit. But for family houses, i.e., I think where I shine is probably the family houses, because I feel most comfortable doing them because I've been building them for a very, very long time. I think in the family houses you can clutter them up and make them look lived in because it's a family house. You know, family lives here, so it's not going to be perfect all the time, but they can still be stylish. So I think that's what we've pretty much gone for with this particular house. And so this is the little entryway that I was talking about. As that door there for this small room, that is the downstairs bathroom. Bit of an odd shape, but it does work, I promise, because in that weird sort of one tile that goes off all by itself, we do end up putting a shower there. So it does work. I think it works anyway. So, and then we end up putting this really nice bay window seat in here, which is an item that I don't ever use, like literally ever, but because this house does have a few bay windows, obviously because of the outside shape, then I thought it would be quite a nice thing to add. And so obviously the family has just another seating area, so I don't think it worked out too bad. Although now that I'm saying it out loud, I do believe that I take out this seat and I put two normal seats. I'm doing it right now. That is so funny. Ignore me. Ignore what I said about the bay window seat. They're very nice, but I just didn't want to use it in this build, clearly. And you also have to remember, I did this a couple of days ago now, so I've slept since then. I don't know what's going on in that room, but then I put like a little chair in this corner too, because I had no idea what I wanted to put there. You're probably thinking, well, you didn't need to put anything there, but I did in my head, so we ended up just putting a chair down there, which I think looks really nice. This is the master bedroom. This area of the house now, so everything you see from here to the end of the video is what I've done this evening. So this is what I've worked on this evening with the house. And I was gonna initially go for like these really rich orangey dark wood tones with this hint of pink and green, because I thought, oh, this is quite different. I don't normally do this. And then for some reason, as I was rejigging everything in this room, I decided to change the swatch of the bed, the rug, and the bedside tables, so it doesn't end up staying like this. And I also changed the swatch of the curtains behind the bed too. And I think I also put, I'll show you in a minute. I do this like thing with a seat behind the headboard, the headboard of the bed. I ended up putting like some seats behind there, but you'll see it in a minute. It looks pretty cool. So, master bedroom, very, very good size. I thought it was nice that the parents have their own space away from the kids. So all the children's rooms are upstairs. So there's a teen room, a toddler room, and then a twin children's room. So it covers all life stages. You've got your toddlers, your children, and then your teenager. I just thought that's a pretty safe bet, because then it covers all bases, you know? So hopefully you have a family in mind for this house. I do hope so. And so I was going to use this wardrobe from the Snowy Escape pack as well, and then I ended up throwing in this shelving unit again from the Eco Lifestyle pack. And I think this is where I was starting to think, okay, well, I'm going to change swatches. And then I do this really nice thing with some mirrors behind here too. It looks really nice. I'm trying some new things with this build. I hope they pay off, because if they don't, I'm going to be a little bit upset. But I like how it looks. I really do. This is what we do with the mirrors here. I just thought it looked really, really classy and really nice. And here we are. So we're changing the swatches here. We end up just going for a dark wood, and we end up just neutralizing everything a little bit more, which I think works better, to be honest. But I know I have used that bed swatch in a more recent build, which is why I was trying to stay away from it and try something new. But hey, if something works, it works, you know? So that's what we end up doing here. Now we're moving on to the upstairs. As you can see, I did do the bathrooms off camera and also the hallway there. I'm sorry, if I include all this stuff, the speed build would just be too long. So I'm just trying to include the main core elements of the house. This toddler room, I love the swatches in this room. We end up going for like creams and browns with little bits of colour here and there. And I just think it looks really nice. And this flooring, which pack is this flooring, this carpet from? I can see it in my head, and I'm trying to think of it now. No idea. It's my very first time using it, and I think it works so well in this room. And this is probably one of my favorite rooms in the house. I just think it looks really cute. It's like a really chic, sophisticated, cute toddler's room. Who would have thought, right? Who would have thought? So I'm trying to play around with some colour here, but I end up coming away from that. So these things don't stay. So I did spend quite a bit of time on this room, actually. Looking back, I did spend quite a bit of time on it, and I'm not sorry for that, because I do like how this turned out. So I'm just having a mess around with different items, different colours, and just seeing what works. But this bed is so cute. It's from the Eco Lifestyle pack, and it's probably my favourite toddler bed in the entire game. I think it's so cute. And then we've got this really nice sort of like shelf here that I'm putting this cat on right now. That's from the Nifty Knitting pack. And I think that looks really nice. And then I thought, okay, it's looking a little bit too clean right now, so I end up just putting some like toys on the floor and then making it a little bit more toddler friendly, if you know what I mean. So that's what we end up doing here. Then we put some really cute clouds and moons on the wall. Oh, it's so sweet. Look how cute this room is. Okay, I'm gonna stop talking about it now. I really hope you guys like this one. But I thought it fit in quite nicely with the theme of the house. And so that's what we've gone for with this. Oh, so cute. Anyway, so now we're moving on to the twin children's room, and obviously utilizing our new bunk beds, because we've all been waiting for bunk beds for such a long time, and I'd be silly not to use bunk beds in this. This room is a little bit more cream and grey based, I believe, again with little hints of colour here and there, because again, you know, it's a children's room, it's not going to be perfect. But yeah, again, I really like how this one came out. I think it looks really sweet. And then I was trying to find different items that might go in this room, but we ended up going for a base game bookshelf just here. I believe there's a wardrobe and a mirror over here, and I also fit a desk with a computer on as well, which I thought might be quite handy for your children's Sims. And then it's really funny because I always like putting plants in every single room, and then I realised that in children's rooms it might not be the most realistic thing to add, unless it's like a fake plant, because kids aren't going to remember to water a plant, right? And then the parents might forget because they might not spend too much time in the children's room, so the plant will just die. So I ended up taking the plant out and putting a desk there instead. And of course we had to put this base game little seat in because, one, look how cute it is, and two, if your children's Sims want to grab a book off the bookshelf, then they can come and have a sit down in their little panda chair. Look how sweet. I really like this. I do. It was quite difficult for me to try to do children's rooms with slightly more muted colours, for sure, but you'll have to let me know what you think, because I am trying something new, but I'm thinking it kind of works. I hope so anyway. I think it's nice. And then we ended up using some hanging plants from the Nifty Knitting pack just to add a little bit more colour into the windowsill there. And then I don't even know which pack that little like rainbow thing's from, but I thought it was just a nice touch. And then this is the teenagers room, or they could be a young adult or a student, maybe even at university, or maybe they're a university student who's come back to live at home. I don't know. I don't really know what the backstory of that could be, but it's very pastel-y, it's very pinky and purpley with cream everywhere. And I just think it, again, I like this one. I don't very often do teenagers rooms in my houses, so I thought this might be kind of useful for anyone that has any teenage Sims or young adult Sims living with their parents. But yeah, we're pretty much wrapping up today, everyone, but let's do our wrap up, shall we? This house is available to download from the gallery. My origin ID, of course, say it with me, is RachelPedd. Tray files, as always, are linked down in the description below. You can grab them from Sim File Share. But screenshots are at the end of the build if you'd like to see what the house looks like in game. But thank you so much again for joining me here today, everyone. I really do appreciate your love and support, and I will see you next time I post a video. Take care, guys. Bye.
You were just standing there with the wind in your golden hair. Didn't know your name, but I could feel it with every heartbeat. Every time that our eyes would meet. Didn't know back then. And even in my wildest dreams, I didn't think that we could be together. Am I living in a fantasy, or is this for real? Never thought that you could fall for someone like me. Never thought that you could fall for me. Never thought that you could fall for someone like me. Never thought that you could fall for me. For someone like me. For someone like me. For someone like me. For someone like me. I don't know what you see in me. I'm not good for you, can't you see that I will drag you down? Here at the bottom, I hope that you finally see I'm not good enough. And even in my wildest dreams, I didn't think that we could be together. Am I living in a fantasy, or is this for real? Never thought that you could fall for someone like me. Never thought that you could fall for me. Never thought that you could fall